Hello everyone, today our presentation topic is consumer genetic testing and ethical role of media, the 23andMe data privacy crisis that explore how media ethics impact our daily lives. First, let us look at bioethics. Simply put, bioethics is a type of applied ethics. It focuses on healthcare and life sciences. It is a systematic study of how we should act in medical and biological contexts. To understand it easily, science tells us what we can do, but bioethics asks what we should do. Because bioethics is highly interdisciplinary, it brings together scientists, philosophers, and policymakers to have a dialogue together. Today, its scope has expanded far beyond traditional hospitals. It now covers global health, the environment, and crucially, how we protect our personal biological data in the digital age. Why is this relevant to our society? As technology grows rapidly, bioethics balances innovation with human values in three ways. First, it addresses the moral boundaries of new technologies like AI and gene editing. Second, it guides policy and law to protect clinical research and patient rights. Third, it protects human dignity and autonomy. A prominent real-world case that brings these three challenges together is the 23andMe data privacy crisis, where millions of users' genetic data were leaked. This case raises critical questions about human dignity, data privacy, and how the media should ethically report such crises. To dive deeper into the specific event and explore what happened, I would now like to hand the floor over to my teammates. Thank you.
Now I will talk about the main bioethical issue in this case when DNA becomes a business asset. 23andMe is a genetic testing company. Users send DNA samples to learn about family background and health risks. The key ethical question is whether genetic data should be treated as a company asset or as sensitive biological information requiring special protection. After the data breach and bankruptcy, many users worried that their DNA data could be transferred, sold, or misused. So, this is not only a business problem, but also a biological problem. This case raises three main ethical concerns: privacy, consent, and control. First, privacy is important because DNA data can reveal health risks, identity, and family relationships. Second, informed consent is a major issue. Users may have agreed to genetic testing, but they may not have expected their data to be involved in a bankruptcy sale. This shows that consent should remain meaningful even when company ownership changes. Third, users should have real control over their genetic data. They should be able to delete their data, refuse data sharing, and limit research or commercial use. Finally, this is also a justice issue because weak privacy protection may harm vulnerable groups more seriously. The media also shaped public reaction to this case. Traditional news media reported the issue in a factual and conscious way, focusing on bankruptcy, legal responsibility, and privacy risks. Some reports also gave users practical advice on how to protect their genetic privacy. On social media, the reaction was more emotional and many users shared deletion instructions. As a result, this case led to public fear, government alert, and legal action. Overall, this case shows that genetic data is not ordinary personal data. It is biological, personal, and family-related information, so it requires stronger ethical protection and responsible media communication.
Now, I'll talk about how media influenced the public understanding of 23andMe case. The key point is not only about what information people received, it's also about how different media platforms shaped the public interpreted the ethical meaning behind it. First, traditional media played a more structured and analytical role. Like AP News, they mainly focused on facts, expert opinions, policy discussions, and legal implications, their coverage helped people understand that 23andMe bankruptcy is not just about a business issue. It raised deeper bioethical questions about data privacy, informed consent, data ownership, and whether genetic information should be treated as a company asset. Traditional media also presented both sides of genetic testing. On one hand, it showed the potential benefits of genetic technology, like medical research, preventive healthcare, and personalized medicine. On the other hand, it reminded the public that this business must be supported by strong data protection and clear consent. In contrast, social media more focused on personal experiences and emotional reaction. Many users share their DNA test results, their family discoveries, and identity stories online. Influencers and bloggers also promote genetic testing as something interesting. However, when the privacy crisis appeared, social media quickly shifted toward fear and concern. Users discussed data privacy, surveillance, and the lack of genuine informed consent. Some tutorial videos show about how to delete 23andMe data also spread rapidly. While the influence of media had both negative and positive effects. Positively, it raised public awareness and encouraged people to think about genetic privacy. It also pushed companies and governments to take data protection more seriously. However, social media could also spread misinformation, exaggerate risks, and simplify a complex ethical issue into emotional reactions. One important point is that genetic data is fundamentally different from ordinary personal information. If someone loses a password, it can be changed. However, genetic information is permanent and can show details not only about an individual, but also about their family members. Because of this, the way media presents genetic privacy issue can have significant social consequence. Media coverage influence whether people trust genetic testing companies, whether they choose to share their data, and how they evaluate the balance between scientific progress and personal privacy. Overall, the case shows that media has a powerful role in bioethics. Good reporting should not only attract attention, but also help public understand both promotes and the risk of genetic technology. The real challenge is not whether genetic testing should develop, but whether innovation can happen with transparency, informed consent, and public trust.
In conclusion, the 23andMe case shows that genetic data deserves stronger protection and meaningful user consent because it contains sensitive personal, family, and health information. The case also highlights the media's role in shaping public understanding of bioethic issues. Accurate reporting can raise awareness and support informed discussion, while misleading coverage can create fear and confusion. Therefore, media organizations should report bioethic issues responsibly, provide context, and avoid sensitive journalism helps people understand both the benefits and risks of new technologies. Thanks for listening.